I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Hey, welcome into the Voice of College Football, West Virginia style, Big 12 style, and ACC style. We got a little ACC for you tonight, too. So listen, I'm Joey Foster. My co-host to the side of me is Shane Statmiller. Down below me is Talcus Pitt. Over to the right of him is Clint Foster. You all know the panel. Let's all have some fun and talk some football. Listen, I just got back from Hog Fest. I'm wore out. I've hurt my shoulder. I fell down the damn steps yesterday and hurt my damn shoulder. Went to the doctor today, and I'm hoping that I don't have a torn rotator cuff. I got to go to a possibly, if it don't start feeling better by next week, I got to go see a surgeon about my arm. So let's pray for the best. Anyway, what's going on? Shane, Talcus Pitt, Clint Foster. What's happening, Shane?
Oh, not much, buddy. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to be back. July is a busy month for me for traveling, and I'll tell you what, it's good to be here with you. Missed you because you're in Hogfest. Talcus Pitt, we had a show, just a week or two ago, and Clint, it's been a minute, but Clint, lighten it up, man. Your imitations are so entertaining. I love them.
Clint's got the best videos on YouTube, man.
Yeah, appreciate that, y'all. Appreciate it. Hopefully I'll have time to make another one tomorrow. That's my plan. And hopefully none of you watched my College Football 25 stream that I just finished. That game is not fun. I don't enjoy it right now. But I'm getting better. We're slowly improving.
So for all you Mountaineer fans, Clint Foster just did a live stream on the Big 12 channel, Penn State versus West Virginia. And he played as West Virginia, and he lost the game. So thumbs down for Clint Foster on his next video. Thumbs down for Clint Foster.
I have no one to blame but myself.
Talcus Pitt, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
I'm really sick right now, so I'll try to be as tentative as possible.
Oh, yeah, man, I apologize for that. I hate that crap, man. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to come on with me tonight because, listen, I just want to talk a little bit of football because I'm kind of out of the loop. It seems like things change daily in college football, don't they? So I went to Hog Fest and I was down there for a friggin' week, and I've come back. And the next day I got back, I fell down the steps, and I've just been like, I haven't watched a single college football video. I couldn't tell you what's going on in college football for the last week and a half. Don't have a clue. But here's what I thought about tonight was, you know what? I'm wondering if the Big 12 can get 2 or 3 teams into playoffs. And then talking to Spitzer earlier, we were talking about whether or not the ACC could get a couple of teams in to the playoffs as well. And I thought we'd talk about that. So let's start it off. I'm just going to start off. I'm just going to go ahead and say this. Here's what my thoughts were. Let's say Utah goes out and beats Oklahoma State, just for an instance, right? Just for instance. Let's just say Utah goes out and beats Oklahoma State, but then Oklahoma State beats West Virginia. And let's say West Virginia runs the table and Oklahoma State runs the table other than in 2 losses. And Utah runs the table all the way, goes undefeated. So there would be a good possibility that West Virginia and Utah would play for the Big 12 championship. Then you'd have Oklahoma State with 1 loss. You'd have West Virginia with 2 losses if they lost in the Big 12 championship, or Utah with 1 loss. It could end up to where Utah, West Virginia, and Oklahoma State could each have 1 loss, even after the championship. And let's just say West Virginia could win the Big 12. Utah, West Virginia, and Oklahoma State each have 1 loss. That's how it could actually turn out. And that's 3 of the better teams. I mean, there's you've got Kansas State. You got to look at, obviously. You got Kansas. You got to look at, obviously, Iowa State's returning. Good God, they got 7th-year seniors from tackle to tackle on their offensive line. So there's a lot of dark horses out there, and West Virginia being one of them. But being that I'm a West Virginia fan, I'm going to assume that we go 11-1. Or maybe 12-1 and win the Big 12. That would be great. But there could be easily 3 one-team losses at the end of the season in the Big 12. I mean, even if it isn't West Virginia, it could be TCU, for instance. Y'all could go 11-1. Oklahoma State 11-1. Utah 11-1. So we could actually get 2 or 3 teams into the playoffs. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on that. What you think that could happen? Shane, go ahead, man.
I think the most likely scenario, and it's not likely, but this is the most likely scenario to get a 3rd team in, would be you had a team that maybe had 1 loss or was undefeated and lost in the championship. And that undefeated team, like let's just say West Virginia beats Penn State, runs the gauntlet, goes to the Big 12 championship, loses the Big 12 championship to Utah or Oklahoma State. Then, because they had beat Oklahoma State in the regular season, it gives them a little bit of and they get in. I can see something like that happen, and I can see someone who's snubbed at number 3 who didn't get into the playoff game or didn't get into the championship game for the Big 12 could sneak in because they lost to West Virginia and the other team that they're playing in the Big 12 championship. Those are the scenarios I see. But
how about you, Glenn? I know you look at a Big 12.
That happened with TCU, right? You
Yeah.
run the table, lose in the Big 12 championship, but you beat everybody on your schedule. So, hey, yeah, that's enough to put you into the playoff. I mean, to Joey's point, yes, I think there are a lot of teams in the Big 12 that are capable of going 11-1. But therein lies the rub, right? There's a ton of parity in this conference. And I just have a hard time not thinking that the Big 12 is really not going to just beat up on itself so much so that, yeah, I think best case scenario, you might get 2 teams into the playoff. Now, I think there's more than 2 Big 12 teams this year that you could make an argument are among the 12 best in the nation. But at the end of the day, your record is, what your record says is what you are, right?
Yeah.
And I have a hard time thinking. I don't think there's any way they put a Big 12 team in that does not have double-digit wins. And I have a hard time thinking that there's any scenario where there will be more than 2 Big 12 teams with double-digit wins. The champion and probably whoever loses the championship.
Yeah. What do you think, Talk Spit? Wait a minute. I don't have no sound for you. Nope, nothing there.
Yeah.
There you go.
What about now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Sorry, it's a brand new phone, and I'm trying to figure this thing out. That's why I normally don't buy Motorola phones. So I honestly, Clint took everything right out of my mouth. It would be a disservice to the Big 12 if there's more than one team with double-digit wins that does not get into the playoffs. Now, you also have to consider one small factor, and that's pretty much the Big Ten and the SEC run, in my opinion, run the playoffs. They're going to get most of the spots, and to be honest, they're probably going to get more spots than they deserve. They're probably going to fit in a couple of 3-loss teams in the playoffs just because they can. And that's honestly why it's hard to predict what conference can put what team into the playoffs when you got two big ones who pretty much run it. And I think it's very unfair.
I think we can put, so let's just say, and I know this is a very, very hypothetical situation. Let's say West Virginia can beat Penn State. And let's say Penn State goes on and plays for the Big 12 championship and even loses the Big 12 championship. Don't make the Big 12 championship. How could you put two teams in above the Big 12? How could you put even three teams out of the Big 10 in? How could you say, okay, so Penn State played the Big 12 championship. We're going to put them in the playoffs along with Ohio State, who won the Big 10. And then we're going to go to the SEC, and we're going to take Alabama and Texas, who are first and second. We're going to go over to Big 12, and we're going to take first place Utah or first place Oklahoma State. But that second place West Virginia team, we're not going to put in there because that they're in the Big 12. But if West Virginia can beat Penn State, they could do a lot for the second place and third place teams in the Big 12.
Yeah,
I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's TCU or Texas Tech or whoever that third place team are. If West Virginia can beat Penn State and then not even finish in the top 5 of the Big 12, or just finish in the top 5, right? The Big 12, I don't see how you could say we're going to take this team over a Penn State team, over a Big 10 team.
I agree, but it's politics. That's the problem.
Yeah. It is.
Well, here's the thing that will help with politics. The most important game, and I don't care if you're a West Virginia fan or you're not, the most important game for the Big 12 non-conference is that first game, Penn State, West Virginia, and Morgantown. That will shine some light on how good or how bad of the conference is, because West Virginia is picked in the middle of the conference. So if you have a team that's picked in the middle of the conference, show up and show out and put it to a Penn State team who's in the top third of their conference, I believe, then that'll shut up a lot of folks. Colorado and Nebraska, another one. If Colorado can go to Nebraska and beat the Huskers there, then that's going to shut up people. Arkansas and Oklahoma State, and then of course West Virginia and Pitt. So those are all important games. UCF and Florida is another one that I'm so excited for. And if the Knights can go and punch a weak Florida team in the mouth, I don't care if Florida's terrible. That's still a solid SEC program. And if the Knights, who I think are one of the top 2 teams in Florida, can put it to the Gators, that's going to just make the Big 12 look better. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you, Shane, there. West Virginia's season, literally going into or having hopes of making the playoffs, will ride if you guys beat Penn State or not. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't beat Penn State and you run the table that you won't get in. They would have to put you in. But losing Penn State's the game you guys have to win, even more than the backyard brawl, in my opinion.
Yeah, we need to win it for the Big 12, not just for West Virginia. It's for the Big 12. It really is. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, there's probably not a better program in the Big 12 that knows Penn State better than West Virginia, obviously. and we've played them a couple of thousand times. It seems like we don't have a good record against Penn State. Nobody does. If you
Yeah.
look at Penn State against anybody,
Yeah.
Penn State pretty much dominates everybody.
In
So
7 years, they've only won twice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so it's one of them things that, hey, all right, so it could be a big game for the Big 12 and for West Virginia. I agree. But it's just a bigger game for the Big 12. How do you feel about it, Glenn? I mean, I think TCU would be better off if West Virginia beats Penn State and Pitt.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's the way this works, right? You want, especially now that Texas is out of the league, you always root for everybody in the Big 12 to win all of their non-conference games. It's not a hard decision to do that.
No,
Because,
it's not.
that raises the profile of your conference, and especially against a Penn State. There's something in the water up there. Maybe it's just in the showers, but that's the one that's you want to win, right? You want to win that one, and I hope West Virginia does do better than me in my game.
So if we look at like Utah, who's favored to win the Big 12, right? So if we take a look at Utah, their out of conference schedule is Southern Utah. Then they play Utah State, and the Arizona game is the other one that's out of conference. Am I right? For Utah, I mean, even though they're in conference, no, I mean, not Arizona.
Conference game for Utah.
The Baylor's the non-conference game. That's right, Baylor. So they're going to play Baylor, and even though they're in the same conference, it's a non-conference game. So that's not going to count in the Big 12 standings whatsoever. Who wins that game? So yeah, I mean, Utah's got a very weak out of conference schedule. So there's nothing that Utah can do in their out of conference schedule that's going to make people say, "Oh well, we need to watch out for Utah." They're not playing anybody, right? So I think that I think West Virginia, and who's TCU playing?
We got Stanford. We've got Stanford and SMU, or our and then an FCS team like Long Beach or not Long Beach, Long Island or something.
So two ACC teams, and if you can win both of those, that'd be pretty good. Pretty good in the eyes of voters, and especially. They're two newcomers to the ACC, obviously, and stuff. And I don't expect them to do very good in the ACC at all. I don't figure SMU and Stanford are going to. I really don't figure they're going to finish above 500 into the season. Neither one.
With any luck, SMU will be terrible in the ACC. That would make me very happy.
I'll tell you what. If anybody's going to succeed in the ACC, if it's a new ACC where there's some changes. SMU will throw money at it. Are they going to be like Texas A&M?
You can't buy wins, though. That's the only thing.
Texas A&M, a la just throw money at, like, have deep pockets but can't win games. You never know. They might turn a corner, but I think thgoing to be irrelevant. And then Clemson's another team that I think they're going to, if they do make it to another conference, you're going to hear crickets from them. They're going to be like a Mississippi State or just like wherever they land. So
well, especially in this new era, you make a good point, Shane. I mean, their hesitancy to use NIL and use the transfer portal with Dabo Swinney. Yeah, that is. If I'm a Clemson fan, that's giving me pause.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think it's given a lot of people pause. I know it's given me pause because for the simple reason, if you're not going to use the transfer portal to plug holes at all, right? That means you've got freshmen and sophomores playing in that part, most likely. And then all of a sudden, you're going up against an FSU that's loaded, a Miami that's loaded, in the ACC. I just don't feel like Clemson's going to be, I think they're going to be a good team. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see them. I think they're going to go like 8-4, 9-3. I just feel like Clemson's not going to be real good.
Looking forward to having him in the Big 12, though.
Oh yeah, looking forward to having him in Big 12. Absolutely.
I'd love to travel down there, see a game.
Yeah,
never been. I mean, I've been. On
it's
campus.
a cool place to see a game. I was there in 2009. It's a very cool atmosphere. For sure.
Yeah, I was there in 2016. It was probably next to the backyard brawl in 1997 that I went to down in Morgantown when I was like 10 years old. It was It was one of the best, if not the best, college atmosphere. I never did not pay for one single beer when I was down
Yes.
there.
Yeah,
Um,
he's absolutely right, because, and I don't know if it's still the case after all their national championships and stuff, but when I was there in 09, literally among the nicest fans
Yeah.
I've ever interacted with.
Oh yeah,
People going out of their way to be like, "Oh my God, so glad you're here." And like
yeah.
after the game, like,
It
you know,
wasn't like
TCU won
that
the game.
after
That
the
was a
game.
great game. Oh my God, have safe
Yeah,
travels. You know.
it wasn't after. It wasn't like that after the game. I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's because you guys won.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we were like a 24-point underdog, and I mean, now granted they won the national championship that year, but if you look back at that 2016 year in Clemson, how many close wins did they have? I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think I've ever
Syracuse
seen
was one of them.
Syracuse. Syracuse was just starting to get somewhat decent, honestly, back in 2015 to 2017. Then I think they won by a field goal against South Carolina. And then they lose to Pitt, which I believe we're still the last ACC team to beat them down there.
Let me say hi to everybody in the chat here real quick. So Timothy Green with us as always. He says, I believe the Big 12 can get 2 playoff teams in. I think they would have to go either undefeated, 10-2, or 11-1, other than the conference champion. Let's go Mountaineers. I agree with you, Timothy. Good job. Kelly McCord says, hello, everyone. Hi, Kelly. Appreciate you being here. Paxton says, 2 at the most if lucky. Oh, okay. Steven says he said somebody lost the Oklahoma State versus Arkansas and Kansas versus Illinois video games too. What's up with that?
Give me time. I'll do that too. Give me time.
All right. So Paxton in here. Paxton says if you win the Big 12, you're automatically in. Right? Yeah. Exactly. If you win the Big 12, you're automatically in. I'm talking about can we get 2 or 3 teams in the Big 12? That's what I'd like to know. Stephen Kyle says 1 team, no big outside conference games. Why you say that when West Virginia's playing Penn State and Pitt?
No, you have a team. Hey, guys, just listen to me here. If you have even let's just talk about Central Florida. They're going to play Florida State or Florida. Sorry, if they play Florida and win, I know Florida's been garbage, but if they have that strong non-conference win and they literally run the table in the Big 12, then lose the championship game, they're going to get in. I mean, because they're not going to drop that far down the polls. That's just my opinion. Same with, West Virginia or TCU, or anybody that runs the gauntlet and wins their non-conference games, unless you schedule like Northwest Sad State, for the wayward or whatever, unless you schedule some shit school, you're going to make it in because you're not going to fall below the 11-12 line in the rankings. I mean, that's what logic tells you, but you saw Florida State, they took a big L.
Paxton already in here says same damn problems with 12 teams as 4 teams. It will be damn drama again. And you're probably right. Daniel says hello everyone. Let me get up there and see. So Daniel also says I can see the winner of the Big 12 and who else is at Arlington in college football playoff. Both teams, I could see that too. I really could. There was a comment down here earlier, and I've got to find it here. So he says all those games besides W versus Penn State are bad teams playing each other. Okay. Maybe I can agree with that. Steve says Baylor. Baylor, I doubt very seriously. Paxton says Tarleton. So Joe Baller, there it is. Joe Baller, welcome in, Jay Baller, not Joe Baller. Sorry there, Jay Baller. He says, think you have to consider Kansas for a possible contender. Crazy as it sounds, we are legit. I agree, 100%, man. Kansas is legit.
Kansas is good. And
we'll
know the litmus test is going to be Kansas, West Virginia. You're going to see exactly where things lay. But even if Kansas pulls it off and beats West Virginia, can that they sustain that with a healthy quarterback? I mean,
That's their problem.
so
Because Daniels, didn't he get hurt like week 4 last year?
right
And
at the
that-
week that they're going to play West Virginia is the week that he got hurt. So if he comes up and he can't make it through, because guys, this is a rough conference. I mean, this isn't the Big Ten where you're playing 4 good schools and the rest are just, I don't know.
W. Mountain
Travis
11,
Allen,
Kenny.
Penn State.
Kenny's a great friend of mine. I appreciate you coming in, Kenny. Appreciate you. Jackson Johnson here as always, putting all of our links in and letting you know where to find everybody on the panel. So anyway, let's see what Jay says. Don't need for the Big 12 to be lucky. I think the Big 12 has a legit chance for sure for 2.
Yeah, I think
agree.
that's the expectation, and every one of the last 3 years, the 2 teams in the Big 12 championship have been double-digit win teams. I think that as long as that is the case, they'll both be in the playoffs. If it's a situation where, like when you had Iowa State and I think it was Oklahoma, they were both 9-win teams, then I don't think both of them get in. Then
No,
I think
I was
it's
gonna-
just the champion. But
So Steve corrected me, and so we thought, yeah, Steve. I when you said Baylor, I thought you meant them making the playoffs. So good. I appreciate you putting that in. He said, let me go back up here. He says you asked who was Utah's non-con game. It was Baylor. That's what he was making the point on. So appreciate that, Steve. Then he also says football is a violent sport. Everyone is at risk of being injured. That's a great point because let's face it. West Virginia's got a good quarterback in Garrett Green who could go down. Now we've got a great backup quarterback. Don't have a lot of experience though. I mean, he did play a couple of games last year. He played against Pitt. He beat Pitt. Played against TCU and beat TCU. So I'm real happy with our backup quarterback. He's really good. But you're right. An injury to Jaheim White or C.J. Donaldson or Garrett Green for West Virginia can change the dynamics of that team greatly. And I'm sure it's the same with TCU, Pitt, and every other team. You're
Oh my
only
God.
one injury away from being think about it. I think every team in the country is one injury away from being a undefeated team to a 8-win tein, right?
although I
mean,
will say, typically for TCU, whenever our starting quarterback gets injured, it tends to be a good thing. So
has been in the past for West Virginia too, to be honest with you.
Same here. Every backup quarterback, well, I'm not going to count Kenny Pickett because it took him 30 years to even become somewhat good. Every backup quarterback we have ever had, actually, I would count him. So back in, I want to say 2017, our quarterback was none other than USC transfer Max Brown. He gets hurt. Kenny Pickett comes in, almost beats Virginia Tech, and then runs the table and beats Miami, his very first actual start. So, I mean, I'm not saying that that's how it is this year because I finally think we have a quarterback who isn't stupid.
But
You
now
know what I
let's
mean?
face it, it was a Miami team that was down quite a bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Miami, they were missing a lot of starters, Joey, but even still, top to bottom, Miami's backup should be better than our starters.
Well,
If you go by
yeah.
talent level and how they recruit, that win should have never happened no matter what. And that's what I was going to say to Clint earlier. Well, what about if a Big 12 team has more than 2 losses, but they're in the Big 12 title game?
yeah, I
I
think the only way that team gets into the playoff is if they win the Big 12 title game. In which
Yeah.
case, then if they're playing a team with double-digit wins, they would also get in. But
Well, what if it's a
what's going to be
non-conference
interesting?
loss?
What was that?
What if it's non-conference? What if it's a non-conference loss getting into the playoffs? But
I
they
mean,
still make it.
I just think that with the stigma and politics being what they are,
Yep.
right, that they're more likely to put in a 9-win Oregon over a 9-win Iowa State. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? even if Iowa State has had more impressive wins. Because listen, as a TCU fan, I've seen this firsthand. Okay, we had a better resume than Ohio State in 2014. We did. Okay, the loss was more impressive. The wins were more impressive. They just happened to blow out Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game. They get put in as the 4th seed. We get dropped down to 6. Okay, it's all about names. And, what is going to be interesting, I think, is if we have situations, because there's been twice in the last 3 years that we've had 3 double-digit win teams in the Big 12. And every time that third team, and let me make sure that I'm saying this correct because I don't want to be wrong. Both times that third team with double-digit wins that wasn't in the Big 12 title game was Oklahoma. They're putting in a 10-win Oklahoma, right? What I'm curious about is, what if that's a 10-win Texas Tech? What if that's a 10-win Kansas that's not in the Big 12 title game? Do they put that team in? I don't know if they do. If it comes down to choosing them or an Auburn, or fill in or Tennessee, right? Who wasn't in the title game for the SEC and has 9 wins maybe, right? Because so much of it does come down to names. What do y'all think?
Well, it's like you were saying though. I agree with you 100%. And so we were talking about West Virginia playing Penn State and Pitt in out of conference schedules, right? So you're playing a Big Ten and an ACC team out of conference. Let's just say, and we said, okay, let's say they win both of them games, and then run the table or not run the table in the Big 12, but lose a couple in the Big 12. Could they get in the playoffs? And yes, we give them a chance. But and we talked about how that would be really good for the Big 12 if West Virginia could beat Penn State and Pitt, right? We were playing Penn State at home, but we got to play Pitt at Acrisure Stadium. So that could easily be a loss. I mean, you're playing in their home stadium, right? So let's just say West Virginia loses to Penn State and Pitt, but then runs the table in the Big 12 and loses in the Big 12 championship game. Could the Big 12 get left out completely at that point because West Virginia lost to Penn State and Pitt, but then ran the table in the Big 12 and lost in the Big 12 championship game? Whoever won the Big 12 championship game gets in, but that's it. There's no other team. I mean, that could easily happen too, right?
If Penn State is playing in the Big Ten championship and they played a close game in Morgantown, then all bets are off. It all depends on if West Virginia gets ranked early in the season and if they stay ranked. If they pop into the top 10, maybe 7, 8 spot, they might be able to sneak in there. But there's a lot of ifs and ands and buts and coconuts. So
yeah, I agree with what Clint was saying too. Look, TCU, none of us know what to expect from TCU. I don't know what to expect. I really don't think Clint knows what to expect from TCU this year because, look, last year was a down year. But hey, they've got a great coach down there, and hey, obviously they're going to have a decent team. So TCU could actually just run the table in the Big 12 this year, and let's say they
your lips to
do
God's
run the
ears,
table.
Joey.
Yeah, but let's just say they do run the table, and let's just say West Virginia loses to Penn State and Pitt, and runs the table after that, and beats TCU in the Big 12 championship game. Let's just say that happens. So West Virginia gets in. TCU wouldn't get in, but TCU wouldn't get in. You would be 12-1, right? Let's just say you go 12-0 in conference play, and out of conference, in and out of conference. You go 12-0. West Virginia goes 10-2, loses to Penn State and Pitt, but beats everybody else and ends up in the championship game with you in the Big 12 with TCU, and then beats TCU. TCU could be 12-1 and not get in the playoffs because we lost to Penn State and Pitt, or lost to Penn State even, right? They would choose another.
I think a one-loss Big 12 team is getting it. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? If both of the teams in the championship game have double-digit.
But how true can that be, Clint, when we left Florida State out last year going undefeated?
It's because of Florida State's strength of schedule. That's the problem. They didn't play anybody. They did.
Well, I think if we brought up strength of schedules right now, in the Big 12, I can remember. I think TCU's like 30 something in the nation straight to schedule, aren't they, Clint?
I don't know offhand. I'm looking at West Virginia's schedule right now because I'm, just continuing this thought experiment.
Right.
I mean, if West Virginia was to run the table in conference, that would mean that they also beat Oklahoma State, Kansas,
Yep.
Kansas State, Arizona. Those are all going to be unanimously agreed on as good teams. Iowa State's also a good team. I don't know that they'll be ranked. Texas Tech's a good team. I don't know that they'll be ranked. UCF's a good team. I don't know if they'll be ranked. So, it's not like West Virginia will have played a bunch of cupcakes, if they have 2 losses in non-conference.
Right.
So in the scenario that you're talking about, West Virginia drops 2 games, wins the championship. TCU goes undefeated, loses in the championship. I think both teams are in. I think
do
that's
too.
I think it's a good possibility too.
I don't see how they leave a 1-loss team out of the college football playoffs, because how many other teams out there have 1 loss or even less or undefeated? There's not going to be many.
Mm-hmm.
So it would honestly, if I were TCU and you guys went undefeated, lost the Big 12 championship, and you didn't get in, you would never hear the end of it from me.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't.
Yeah.
And just like West Virginia, look, I mean, I know we're rivals and everything, but I'm all about fairness,
Right.
no matter who it is. If you guys, let's say, drop Pitt and Penn State, but then run the table, I still don't see a reason why they should keep you out. I mean, because look, Pitt went 3-9 last year. We all know that they sucked, and we refuse to be known as a 3-9 team. So the game's going to be a lot harder. If you just so happen to drop that, I honestly don't think losing to Pitt would be or have more as big as an impact on West Virginia than if you would lose to Penn State. Because I think if you beat Penn State but lose to us and then run the table, still in the playoffs.
Oh yeah. If you win the Big 12, you're in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
You're just trying to figure out, can 2 or 3 teams get in? And Steve, hey, talk a bit. I'm gonna mute you. You got a really bad noise coming through when you're not talking. When you're talking, it sounds fine. So just unmute yourself when you're ready to talk. If you don't care, talk a bit.
Joey and Shane, avert your eyes. They're talking about 2007 in the chat.
I know. That's what I was going to say. For record, Steve, next time we have a Pitt guy in here, don't ever mention 2007, please. So he says a half dozen teams.
I don't use 2007 in an argument anymore.
Yeah, West Virginia was in. They just had to beat Pitt, and West Virginia was a 24.5-point favorite and lost 13-9. Here's a trivia question for you. The previous year, there was another team that was a 24-point favorite, 24.5-point favorite, and lost their last game of the year 13-9 and didn't get into the playoffs either. Do y'all know who that was? Anybody? That was USC. USC in 2007 was also going to be in there. The previous year, 2006, I'm sorry, in 2006, they were going to be in there, and they lost their final game, I think it was to UCLA, 13-9, and they were 24.5-point favorites. The following year, West Virginia, getting to the national championship game, loses their final game 13-9 to Pitt. 2 years in a row, 13-9 played a part in that. So kind of funny. All right, so Timothy Green says, I'm going on a limb and say I don't think there will be any undefeated Power 4 teams this year in college football. What do you guys think? All right, Shane, what do you think?
Oh boy, I don't know, Joey.
I could see Oregon.
Yeah, I think Oregon's solid. Washington, they lost a lot of folks. When I was out at Eugene, I was listening to the folks talk about their team, and they're not being, how like you listen to teams, and you're like, they're just like Nebraska fans, like they always think they're going to win the national championship, or there's certain fan bases like Ohio State. Oh yeah, we're the best ever this year. they legitimately think they have a good team this year, and they think that their skill set that they have from last year, skill set, is going to translate, and they're going to be able to score a lot of points in the Big Ten. We'll see. I agree. I think Oregon is the Ducks are solid.
How about you, Clint? Do you see any Power 4 team going undefeated this year?
Yeah, so I'll talk about this, and then I got a piece out for the evening. Yeah, I think Oregon, just because, and I'm not even looking at their schedule, but like the Big Ten is trash, and I think that Oregon is very good. You're looking at them basically having to beat Ohio State, I believe, and that's the only real game on their schedule, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like as long as they can get past Ohio State, well, I guess in Washington. And they got to go to Madison. That could be. Oh no, they play Michigan too. Okay, never mind. So Oregon, they didn't do Oregon any favors. So Oregon's not going undefeated. No. Never mind.
Yeah, I think everybody in the Big Ten's got a pretty tough schedule. Seriously, I looked at some of them. They were all.
So I don't see Alabama going undefeated this year with a new coach. LSU is going to be really good, but Brian Kelly, I don't know about undefeated. Yeah, I don't know. Tim may be right. This may be one of those years where nobody runs the table.
I think the team that could run the table this year myself would be Georgia. But before we get into that conversation, Clint, I know you said you had to go. Tell everybody where to find you at before you bug out of here, and let's get.
Yeah, so subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, you dingleberries. Subscribe to Big 12 VOCFB. That's where you get this show and my show, The Biggest 12, on Tuesdays. We'll be back on Tuesday this coming week. You'll probably watch me lose on College Football 25 again. So, get ready for that. And follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55. And my YouTube channel is at Clint Foster Comedy. Like I said, I'm hoping to get a new video made for y'all tomorrow. Hopefully get it posted over the weekend. So we'll get some.
Can you do me a favor, Clint? Can you do me a favor? So next week, can you just go ahead and play Pitt versus West Virginia, and you play the Pitt team? Can you just be like Drew Aller? Or no, at Pitt State. But can you be like, can you play like their quarterback? I don't remember who that Pitt quarterback is. But
I probably won't play as West Virginia next week. Hey, this is a process. We gotta trust the process. Okay. Eventually, I'm gonna start winning these games. Eventually,
it's great, man. It's great. I'll take a loss on a video game as long as in real life.
As long as it happens in real life. Yeah. See y'all.
I appreciate you dropping in, man. Have a good night, brother. All right, Pitt. So tell us what you think. Which team can go undefeated this year? Power 4.
None.
Nope, none.
I'm not saying it can't happen, but if we're talking about in terms of getting into the college football playoff as an undefeated team, okay, let's take out college football playoff conversation for a second and just, do regular season plus the conference title. Yes, I do think there are teams who could go undefeated, but I also think with the added pressure of there being a bigger playoff system where more teams can get in, I think you're going to see more fight from teams that you haven't seen before going up against teams they have no business beating. And I honestly think almost every, if not all, Power 4 team, every single one of them will probably, I don't want to say have a loss that don't see coming, but they will have one. I just don't, this year, at least for now, I don't see any Power 4 teams going undefeated into the CFP. I just don't.
I have a feeling about, I picked Miami to win the ACC. Do I think they can run the table? I don't know. But I think that if there's any team in the ACC that has the talent, I'm going to mute you again, Pitt. I muted you, Pitt, so just unmute yourself when you get to talk. I think if there's any team in the ACC that can go undefeated, it's Miami. And I definitely think any team in the SEC that can go undefeated is Georgia. Now, I'm not saying that, these other teams aren't going to have good teams. I think Georgia has the best coach. I think Georgia has the best players. And I think Georgia can go undefeated in the SEC. I really don't know if Georgia's even going to lose a game this year. I really think they can go all the way. So I think there is a team that's going to go undefeated this year, and I think you have to look at the ACC and Miami, and I think you have to look at Georgia and the SEC. I don't think Ohio State's going to go undefeated or Oregon. I don't think any Big 12 teams will go undefeated. So I just have to say that you have to look at the ACC and SEC if you want an undefeated team.
I'm going to go Big 12. I'm going to say that, there's I think there's 4 teams in the Big 12 that have a chance of going undefeated and run the table. Utah, I hate to say it, but we shit on them, but they have an easy schedule, guys.
Very easy.
Utah, and if West Virginia beats Penn State, all bets are off. They're dark horse. If you go, Oklahoma State is fantastic, guys, and then you have your sleepers like Kansas and Iowa State and Kansas State. I mean, those are all ones that could make a run and go undefeated if they go on a tear. Ohio State, even Penn State, this might be the year that they get the monkey off their back and don't lose a game or two. But Clemson, and Miami are my. I would like to see not Clemson, Miami, but Miami and maybe Georgia. Yeah, I think those.
I'll be right back, guys. Y'all go ahead and talk. Hey, Jackson, be right back, guys.
Joey.
What do you think about the SEC? Who's going to run the table there? Who could go undefeated?
I don't think anybody's going unbeaten.
No.
You said the SEC?
The SEC. Southern, Georgia, maybe Georgia, maybe Mississippi State. No, I don't know. Who's going to fill that void?
Well,
to be the team in that conference.
I don't see anybody with. I just don't see a lot of teams being able to compete with Bama outside of the or not Bama, Georgia outside of the norm. I mean, let's just face it, Georgia up until last year won 2 national championships straight. That's very difficult to do. Now, obviously, it's been done before, but that doesn't mean it ain't any easier just because it's been done. Because of their new quarterback, that's why I can't pick Georgia to go undefeated.
Yeah, but they're plug and play. I mean, they always have Matt Stafford wasn't he was first year start and he went in there and I don't know. It's just hard to say nowadays because you're getting guys in that have seat time and have played big time ball, but even if they haven't started for the Bulldogs, but I don't know. It's a head scratcher, and I enjoy looking at the schedule or the top 25 and seeing 1 or 2 or 3 undefeated teams because that makes me want to watch them either lose or keep winning. So I want to tune in.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so Jackson, I know you're an Alabama fan, and nobody's talking about Alabama this year.
No,
and that's an unusual thing. I mean, it really is for nobody to be talking about Alabama. And the thing about it is, y'all got a good coach, right? It's obvious you got a proven coach. You got the players. What is it? Why are not people talking about Alabama this year, Jackson? Why are we shunning Alabama off like you're the redheaded stepchild that's going to lose the SEC? You ain't doing shit. You're going to be lucky if you win 7 games. You're going to go 7-5 in Alabama this year.
I don't think they're saying that part. I'm thinking a lot of people are more like having us at a 10-win season.
Yeah, I agree. But still, 10 wins in the SEC. Is that a playoff team, Jack?
In the SEC and Big Ten? Absolutely.
Yeah. So a 10 win in the Big 12 or ACC is not a
that all depends on your schedule and your strength of wins.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying so a 10 win West Virginia, and let's say one of those wins is over Penn State. Yeah, West Virginia would be a playoff team. You're thinking?
That's what I believe.
Yeah.
That Penn State win, guys. Because listen, Penn State, if they probably one of the best things for Penn State for their season is to get that L, get a little bit of humble pie, and then go and run the table in the Big Ten. Can they beat Ohio State? I don't know. They haven't figured it out in a while. But, that would be good for I'm not to be good for them to lose, but it'd be great for West Virginia. But, Penn State with a loss could still get in, lose to West Virginia first game of the season, still get to the college football playoffs. So, you never know. Like last year just took an Etch-a-Sketch and shook the shit out of what we thought reality was for college football, with Florida State being, not asked to the dance. And
that was wrong what was done to Florida State, because it's like,
yeah,
they had a bigger win over LSU than Alabama did. They went unbeaten, and unfortunately, I think honestly they should have had something similar to what Ohio State had in the Big Ten title in 2014, where they ran up the score on Wisconsin. And I think honestly, if you're wanting to get into the playoffs, you're going to have to run style points. And I know some people are like, well, that's not classy and all that. Well, okay, look back at 1999 in the NFL, where it was like, we need more points. We need more points. Packers trying to score more points against Cardinals. Panthers trying to score more points against Saints. Hey, why are these teams trying to run up the score? It's like 5 seconds left. Well, point margin. I mean, don't be surprised if you see some of that this year. Like, because ESPN, they're going to screw over the ACC and the Big 12. I mean, they did it last year. They'll do it again.
They'll screw one of them over. Yeah, I'm sure. All right, so I want to. So we talked about the big game for the Big 12, without a doubt, is West Virginia Penn State. That's a big game for the Big 12. It's going to set the tone for the season for the Big 12. Hopefully, West Virginia can pull out a victory. It's going to be a lot of pressure on West Virginia. But let me say this, and I'm gonna direct this towards Talkers Pitt there. All right, so let's say West Virginia can beat Penn State, but then loses to Pitt. What does that say for Pitt and the ACC, Talkers Pitt? Do you think that maybe changes the outlook for you guys?
Absolutely. But I think, honestly, our biggest game is in the middle of the season when Clemson comes to town. Depending on our record, and if we have just one loss and it's not a conference loss, we're in the ACC championship game. If we beat Clemson, we are 100% in the ACC championship game. Because that's what will decide if we deserve to be in the ACC title game. Now, if we fail to beat West Virginia, that just says we don't deserve to be in the CFP.
So, but so you're saying, well, let's just say it this way then. So West Virginia, Penn State is a big game, not only for the Big 12 and for West Virginia, but for Pitt as well then.
It is. It's a very big game as far as morality goes and making sure people forget 3-9. I mean, I'm never going to forget that. I'll remember that for the rest of my life. That's almost as bad as what happened to you guys in 2007. Left a very, very, very sour taste in your mouth. Like, okay, what kind of trajectory is this football program going now? I mean, because we're not that good. I never claimed Pitt to be a blue blood. A lot of people put us in that conversation because of what we did in the past, but I personally would never do that. I don't think we deserve that. Our resume does not obviously show that. What our resume does show is with the right players, the right coaching, and the right personnel, we can do some damage in the ACC. Let's take 2021, for instance. Now, I know that's the year after COVID, but we still were picked dead last in the conference that year, and we won it.
Talkers Pitt, I have a question for you. I'll give you this scenario. West Virginia lays it on Penn State. Would you rather have a loss to West Virginia after that win after West Virginia beat Penn State, or would you rather beat Penn State or beat West Virginia after they lost to Penn State and then just kind of have an abysmal season. I mean,
I would rather take the first situation. I would rather lose to West Virginia and win the ACC.
yeah, like if West Virginia beats Penn State and Pitt plays them close, I think that could have a very impactful, trajectory for the season, like an upward kind of the way. Who did West Virginia play last year that their season kind of changed after they? Now that
Houston?
happened with Houston. No, not Houston. Kind of took
It was-
after
it
that. But,
Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State
Oklahoma
last year because we should have beat
Oh,
Oklahoma State.
That's
I
right
think-
when they kind of turned the corner on their season. They were actually good
Yeah.
because they were hot garbage the first two games. Lost to South Alabama, but
and
then-
lost to Iowa State, but they got their act together on Friday night against Kansas State on ESPN.
yep, they straightened the ship up and they looked tough.
Falcons Pit, I'm wondering, do you have like YouTube on in the background or something? Just like
No, this phone's only a month old, and it took me a while to figure out the settings on my old phone.
what's crazy is like when you talk, it sounds great. When we talk, it's like wah, 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 wah.
Like whenever you guys talk, that's the only time I hear the static. I'm not hearing it right now.
Huh.
So is
And-
it really me or is it just StreamYard?
No, it's you because I can mute you and it goes away. But
Well,
anyway,
My
about
head-
like Pittsburgh, like if they did lose to West Virginia in the regular season and then like suddenly wins the ACC, I'll tell you of a dream playoff game that could happen. Pittsburgh, Penn State.
Yep,
I
Oh.
want that to happen so bad.
in the first round, first little bracket there. you
that
have,
would be interesting. That would be
the
very
Penn-
interesting.
The
Hey,
Penn
look,
State
we're not
Like,
getting
it would be like a early Christmas.
Can you guys hear me?
present right there.
Yeah, we can hear
Loudly.
you and there's no feedback. There's no feedback, Falcons Pit. That's
I'm still
fantastic.
hearing the static.
I still hear
Oh.
it too.
Yeah.
Joey,
I
it might
hear a
be-
little bit of
Joey, is
static,
it you?
It might be.
I honestly think it might be Joey because it's only
No, it's
happening
still
whenever he's talking. At least on my end. Shane, it's not
No,
happening
I'm
with
muted.
you. Jackson,
muted it.
ain't just a little bit.
Okay, it's not with Shane.
Okay, now it got worse as
well,
soon as he
you know what's
unmuted himself.
not with Jackson.
Now the election's coming and all this nonsense is being talked about on both sides. We're wiretapped. That's what it is.
Oh, that's
they're
what it
tapping-
is. Yeah, we're
they're tapping
wiretapped.
the phones.
Yeah.
Blame it on Kamala and Trump.
Well, I can hear that static too, guys, but I muted all four of us, and that
Yeah.
static don't go away. So that
No,
little
no.
static must be StreamYard or something.
Yeah,
but-
So it's not me then.
No, it was you. It was you. Believe me. When we would talk, I mean, it was like you'll go back and watch the stream. You'll see what I'm talking about. Go back and watch.
Oh, I know what you're talking about because I've been hearing the static the whole entire stream.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's a both.
So
it might be.
So Jackson, what do you have coming up here this week? What you always have something cooking.
Well, I got a surprise episode, the Jacksonian coming up, releasing on Saturday.
I've been a part of that once or twice. Once? Or has it been once or twice?
Oh,
I know I've been on your show with the
you're-
other guy.
Yeah, you're on a past show, but unfortunately, it's not been on a Jacksonian episode. but-
Still counts.
Yep.
It's
I've been on your
Jacksonian
show. It
episode.
counts.
Hey, we're small potatoes compared to the people he gets on his Jacksonian episode.
Yeah.
He don't invite us on. We're all small potatoes.
I
doesn't
got
wanna-
the biggest person to invite me on his show would have been Mark Rogers.
Wow.
And that was about 2 weeks ago. And look, I was probably never going to post another video again because losing both Golden Blue Dude and Wolfman in the same year really hurt my feelings. A lot of people don't know Golden Blue Dude is the only reason why this channel exists. Met him on Facebook. He told me to create this channel because he doesn't have a Pitt fan to trash talk to. And here it is.
Yeah. Now, Golden Voodoo Man was a special guy. So was Wolfman. Wolfman was a very special
Oh
guy.
my God.
Good friend. And I know that you were on his show like the last month of his shows every Wednesday, wasn't it?
It was like the last 2 months he was alive. I was on every single one of his Tuesday shows.
Tuesdays. Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Great show.
I know I had the honor of talking with the Wolfman, getting him on the second episode, the Jack Sane, in July of last year. It was wonderful conversation where we talked a lot about the history of the backyard brawl and the Big 12, what it looked like.
Yeah. He didn't make me feel stupid like a lot of them do, because I don't know a lot about college football, and most people know. Joey's the only one that knows this, even though he might not remember because he's old.
Hey, talk us, Pitt. You are the weakest link.
I have only been a Pitt fan for 10 years.
What?
Yeah. I did not follow college football up until 10 years ago because
So,
it was
okay,
confusing.
Wait a second. So it's like you woke up one day and it's like, I have these itchy feelings and bad taste in my mouth and my vision's blurred. And you go to the doctor and the doctor says to you, Talkus Pitt, I think you're coming down with being a Pitt Panther fan, right?
Well,
the only cure is shitty football.
Take these strong antibiotics.
Take these.
You're going to be in the lot of shit, so take these strong antibiotics.
So basically, here's how I became a Pitt fan. In 2007, I met the quarterback who beat West Virginia down in Morgantown in 1997, which was the very first college football game I ever went to. That quarterback was Pete Gonzalez.
Oh, cool.
He paid for a whole entire season's worth of Pitt Panther tickets for me.
What?
Well, that's cool.
And ever since then, because to be honest, I'm not going to lie, Pitt was not even anywhere near close to the college football teams I was following. And even when I did start following college football team, you guys might not like my answer of who that was. It was Marshall.
Oh.
Marshall.
My gosh.
It was Marshall.
Now, but what you said there, it kind of tells me I need to find some new football fans. Friends. I've got all kinds of football friends. They ain't none of them ever bought me season tickets. So I must be picking the wrong friends.
Oh, I get free tickets all the time. I get at least 2 or 3 tickets that are free every year, and usually they're games that nobody wants to go to, like Kent State or something like that. I'm not even going to that game.
I think that's cool. I think that's cool. It's funny.
Yeah.
I wish that Kent State. Yeah, I know that Penn State's playing Youngstown State and Pitt's playing Kent State.
Yeah.
There's no rule saying that you can't make a trade.
Well, I also, if I'm not mistaken, Penn State is also playing Kent State and Youngstown, aren't they? One of the ACs, one of the teams that we play is playing both. Is playing Kent State. One of the teams that I know we plays them as well. I just can't think of who that is off the top of my head. But I like how Pat Narduzzi is changing the scheduling for our non-conference and not scheduling so many FCS teams. With Cincinnati and West Virginia and then Notre Dame. Although I would love to never play Notre Dame ever again. I would rather play somebody we've never played, like your team, Jackson. We've never played Bama.
And
just to get it out of the way.
I don't think we've been to Pitt, so that would be pretty cool.
Well, we've never played. Bama and Pitt have never played. Now, we've played South Alabama. We've played UAB. We've played every D1 team in Bama that you could possibly get except Bama. And honestly, I think it's more along the lines of Bama not wanting to play us because, to be honest, there isn't no upside. If Bama were to play Pitt, it'd just be like Bama playing an FCS team. And this is coming from a Pitt fan.
Well, they play us. They played us in 2014 and we're scheduled again.
Me in that Bama department. I'll make sure we play Pitt.
Dude, please do it. Please do it before I get married, if I ever do get married. Because if I get married, I'm probably never going to watch a college football game again.
What if she's a Pitt fan? You
She's
gotta
a
marry
Pitt
a
fan.
Pitt fan.
Oh, I do. Actually, the girl I'm talking to now lives down in a town called Beckley, West Virginia.
Oh, really? You got a girl down there? Are you
Die.
talking to my wife? You better leave my wife alone.
Joey, she's yours. Yvette's yours. You can deal with her. I love Yvette though, but I mean, because she's always been, just absolutely respectful towards me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I honestly, I would love for Pitt to play teams we have never played and stop playing teams we have played before in the non-conference slate. It's annoying. It really is. We haven't played Bama. People are like, well, what about Georgia? Pitt's never lost to Georgia. We're undefeated against Georgia in history. So that ship has already sailed.
Didn't know that. That's good news. That's good to hear.
Yeah, we're undefeated.
How about Pitt LSU?
I don't think we've ever played them either. We were supposed to, actually, COVID year, if I'm not mistaken, and then the schedules obviously got all switched up because I can't even find the original schedule anymore.
You know, that I've always thought West Virginia's only played Ohio State one time. As far as in my lifetime, we've only played once.
We played them,
and we lost our ass. That was 91.
98.
They give you guys the worst loss in your school history as well as they did to us.
No. It wasn't that bad. We just lost. I mean, we lost.
It was bad. It was like, what was it? It was 95, I believe it was. And they whooped us in Pittsburgh 72-0.
Oh, that was 96.
Oh, that was 96 too? Oh, damn. So they beat us both in the same year.
Well, y'all got beat 54-14 in 95, but y'all got beat 72-0.
W football going day. Appreciate you dropping in. He says, just here for a moment. W plays and beats Utah in the conference championship.
Good one.
I actually have you guys in the Big 12 championship this year.
You know, I think a lot of people outside of the brainhead that ESPN and Fox and all this, I think a lot of people have West Virginia in the top 3 of the Big 12. But outside of that, you look at 247 or Rivals or ESPN or any of those, they got West Virginia down there 7th and 8th and middle.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that has to do with your defense because it wasn't good last year.
No, you
at
know
all.
what it has to do with? It has to do with Neil Brown. They don't have any faith in Neil Brown. They think last year was just lucky. I've read the articles. They think Big 12 was down last year, and West Virginia just got lucky and won 9 games because the Big 12 was down. Even Vegas only has us at 6.5. So
oh man,
yeah, it's just a crazy thing.
I think half your fan base still doesn't have faith in Neil Brown. I mean, because I'm a Pitt fan, so I belong to every West Virginia thing on Facebook, Twitter that I could possibly do. And it is to troll you guys, but it's also to learn and be accurate.
Yeah.
And from what I see is half your fan base, it's not that they don't believe you as a football team can do it. They don't have faith in Neil Brown.
Right. They don't have any faith in Neil Brown. A lot of people don't. Now I do. Even back when they wanted him fired, I said, okay, I'll be okay with a coaching change, but I don't think it's necessary. I did not think Neil Brown was a bad coach. I thought it would be fine, and it showed last year that he is fine, and he's got pretty much the same team returning from a 9-win season a year ago that beat North Carolina pretty badly in a bowl game. And I know North Carolina had a lot of players set out, but hey, That's football.
So to West
Because
Virginia.
that-
So to
that-
West
Oh,
Virginia.
they still ran. They were still able to move the ball against you guys, though. Even though you guys won by double digits, they put up almost 400 yards of total offense, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
That backup quarterback, what was his name for UNC? Number 15.
I don't remember his name. He's good though. He's good.
He's good. He's good. The
Within
thing
first
about
three plays of the game, within the first 3 plays of the game, I was thinking, wow, this quarterback's pretty damn good. We're going to have our hands full this game.
Yeah. I think here's the thing about North Carolina, and I said this last year because I had you guys beating them in that bowl game. Their problem has always been their offensive line. It's been one of the worst. Even when Pitt played North Carolina this year, we were able to sack Drake May 6 times.
Mhm.
So that's their problem. Now, you guys obviously had better edge rushers and defensive tackles than us, so you guys were able to create a lot more pressure than what we were. Also, North Carolina, they don't really have that good of a secondary either. And let's just face it, I'm not trying to trash talk Garrett Green, so please don't take this the wrong way, but he's not the best downhill thrower.
He's not, but he's
No, he's not. You're exactly right. Nico Marchio's the better passer.
Yep.
Garrett Green's the
Yeah.
better person to get out of trouble. But,
Yeah.
but supposedly, now, I've not been able to see it myself, but supposedly Garrett Green has improved his passing game tremendously. And that he's
Yeah,
throwing
I think
pretty
he
good
has.
passes now. So,
I did watch your guys' spring game, and what I loved from Garrett Green, coming from a Pitt fan, is Garrett Green is that type of quarterback that you want to have in at all times, even if he has flaws, because he's going to be able to get you out of sticky situations, just like Shane said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not saying Nico can't do that, but the thing is, Nico doesn't have that much experience to do that.
right. He don't. But Garrett Green, the thing about what makes special about Garrett Green is he's not a Pat White and he's not a
Yeah.
Major Harris. So Major Harris was great at passing just as much as he was at running, right? He wasn't as quick as Pat White, but he was a good passer. Well, Garrett Green ain't neither one of those guys, but he was a combination of the two, right? So he can get out of trouble, he can scramble, he can break some tackles, and then he can hurt you down the field. But last year and the years previous, it wasn't that likely that he was going to connect on them passes deep down the field. It just wasn't likely. I think this year, though, I think there might be a good chance of that.
If I may interject for a second, for Joey and Shane, this question's for you. What do you think is Garrett Green's, besides his throwing? What do you think his biggest problem is, besides staying healthy too?
No, I think it was there was a period of time where he was just there was a little bit of hesitation. I think they simplified things. I think he understands the offense better and experience. I think he's more accurate. But at that time, it was they simplified to kind of not dumb things down, but just made it so he could process it quicker and make those.
Okay,
decisions.
so
that was the change. That was the big thing.
I think you're kind of right, and I think also the biggest thing to me is that you have to remember that our two big receivers, Preston Fox and Hudson Clement, were only juniors.
Yeah,
and they hadn't started. Now they're starters as juniors, right? And so they weren't on the same page. And Rodney Gallagher was just a freshman, so he wasn't on the same page. Now they've all played a year together of being on the same page. I think you're going to see a totally different team this year being able to pass down the field. Rodney Gallagher is going to be an amazing wide receiver. I don't know how many people know this, but he's going to be pretty damn good. And Hudson Clement and Preston Fox, they're walk-ons. But my God, they're amazing. I mean, they don't miss balls. You throw a ball out of the way, they're coming down with it. So I really believe they're on the same page now. So I think you're going to see, I think that's what you're going to see is that West Virginia quarterback and receivers in sync, right? going down the field. I don't think it really had a lot to do with Garrett Green and his ability. I think it has a lot to do with where he thought that receiver was going to be and where he threw the ball.
That's fair. I mean, the only concern I have about your guys' offense is your O line. Not that I'm saying it's going to be bad, because it's not. To me, West Virginia probably has the second best, if not the best, offensive line in all of college football. Now, with that being said, though, you did lose Frazier, and you did lose that other guy's name, who I believe was injured half the year last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even losing Zach Frazier, hey, the backup played just as much, just as good.
How long has it been? How long has it been since Yates has actually played, though?
He played. He played a couple hundred snaps last year, didn't he?
He did? Did he?
Yeah, I'm thinking
that's good.
He played quite a bit last year. Am I right? Am I right, Shane? I'm pretty sure Yates played quite a bit.
Yeah, I think he played a few snaps. I have to look it up. Now you got me scratching my head, doubting myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. But I don't think we're going to lose a lot off that offensive line. I really don't. Look, Zach Frazier is a big loss to anybody. He'd be a big loss to Alabama. Zach Frazier would have been a big loss to Alabama. So I don't think that losing Zach Frazier, though, is going to hurt us as bad as people think.
No,
I mean, I really believe his backup. He's good.
I don't either. I had a little tit for tat be with Brandon Yates on Twitter. I didn't take it overboard. I didn't call him any names or anything like that, because I won't attack the players personally. I'll leave that for the fans. But I said to him, you better bring your A game, because we remember last year and we don't forget. We haven't forgotten. And he said, I will bring my A game. You guys better bring yours too.
That's good.
And I was like, I love that guy. And he's a West Virginia guy. Wow. But yeah, it's gonna be I don't want to say a tough year, but it's gonna be a transition year for us.
Yeah.
I'm not, and it's not the quarterback that's my biggest problem. Actually, it's our defensive line, because we don't return anybody. We lost everybody. Now we return all our linebackers and all our safeties and DBs. But if you don't have people up front that can create pressure, then it's going to be a long year.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's for sure. I'm trying to look, because I want to see.
There's a website for that, isn't there?
Well, yeah, I'm wanting to see something, though, because there's one thing I don't know, and that's who our second string center is. And that's what I would worry about.
That's what. Because
that's where I would worry.
Yeah. After this year, Joey and Shane, don't you guys lose a lot of people?
Yeah,
no, we lose Garrett. We lose Garrett Green.
Yeah, Garrett Green, but a lot of the kids that they've put in place have 2 years, and the recruits that they've gotten in this past year. I mean, the cupboards are full. The cupboards are full, and we're not talking just rice and beans. There's some good looking treats in that pantry.
Yeah, that quarterback you guys got for 2026, he's good. He's good.
Hey boys, I'm gonna have to pop off here.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to head out early tomorrow morning. But Joey, I'll catch you soon. Talk is Pitt, Jackson. Take care.
Stay safe. Stay away from the heat.
Yeah, Shane, have fun on vacation. Don't get eaten by a shark.
I won't. I'm gonna be. I'm gonna try to maybe pop on tomorrow for a little bit. Depends on how the traveling goes, and I'm doing that Mountaineer Mafia thing. So Tim Green and company.
So Shane, let me tell you, because this is going to be the first time Shane's ever heard this. I'm making a change on this channel.
Yeah.
So I'm no
You're
You're
longer
making
gonna
me a moderator?
You want to
You're
be a
making
mod?
me a moderator?
You can be a mod, talk to Spit. I'll make a Pit fan a moderator in the West Virginia
You
channel.
did it
What?
Do
before.
that. Do that.
You know what? I would be the talk of the town. Yeah, I did. I made you a mod and Gold Voodoo, didn't I? So
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
one thing that I want to do, I'm making a change. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to do trivia on Monday night anymore. I'm actually going to do it on Friday night. Either after Shane's show, Shane goes from 8 to 9. I'm gonna do trivia at 9 o'clock on Friday night. It's gonna be sports and general knowledge trivia. It's gonna be fun trivia. Just hey, listen, come and play because I guarantee
Yeah.
you can win. You can win yourself a nice gift card to the to topqualityshirts.com and get some Boise College football merchandise or traveling pools or pigskin Pete or whatever you want. Um, so you could do that. But anyway, also I was going to tell Shane, and he can think about this while he's gone for the next week. Would he rather do his Friday night show on Tuesday night than Friday night and stuff? Because we can make that change too. Because I'm going to move trivia from Monday to Friday, and
Yeah.
we will
Friday's
start
a
this
good
Friday.
night for trivia because people are up late. I think that's a great move.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing about it is we was having to start it so late. We were starting at 10:30 on this channel, right? Because my co-host lives on the West Coast, Gutters Pub. She lives on the West Coast, so for her it was early, and she babysits her grandson, and he wasn't getting picked up until 11 o'clock our 10 o'clock our time, which was 7 o'clock her time. So I had to go live at 10:30 for trivia, and we
Right.
have to rush it to get it out of there in an hour and be done by 11:30 so people can go to bed. Well, now we're going to move it to Friday night. We're going to do it at 9 o'clock. Trivia will not be rushed anymore. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play some different rounds. We're going to
Yeah.
throw all kinds of names on the wheel and draw out some prizes and stuff
With
like that.
football season rolling around, I think that's perfect because my kid is actually, he's gonna be in 10th grade. He's seeing some time, so
How
I
about
wanted
this?
to be able to watch
Just
those
for
on
Mountaineer,
Friday.
just for Mountaineer fans, and I know we don't have very many in here right now. We had quite a few earlier, but a lot of them have left. Just for Mountaineer fans, how about Friday night? I throw a whole round, 10 full questions in about West Virginia football.
Oh, that'll
I
be
will
fun.
do
And
a 10 round
I might
question.
I might do it a little earlier on Friday if I do a show on Friday, but I can definitely move it to Tuesday, Joey.
Okay.
Wherever you need me. Okay.
All right. Well, we will discuss that, and yeah, I think Tuesday night would be a great night for the West Virginia live show, and then Friday night trivia. We'll just change it up. Hey, we're trying everything around here. We're going to do it. Hey, another thing too, though, like I say, if you will come in Friday night, I'm going to do a 10 round question of West Virginia sports trivia. And listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy right down here in the bottom right, this little ding dong down here in the red hat. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No, down here. I'm sorry. I'm
He
pointing
knows
at
Oh.
something down there. That little guy in that ding dong red hat, that's an
Yeah.
Alabama fan. We don't
Yeah.
want him winning West Virginia sports trivia.
He
And I
will.
You don't want
guarantee
me
you,
winning it either.
I guarantee
If I
you,
w-
he's going to know a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I know a little bit about West Virginia football history. My grandpa, um, he never actually played for West Virginia, and it's because he ended up going to World War II.
Oh, okay.
He would have 100% played football for West Virginia if he didn't have to go to war. I don't have any Pitt fans in my family. I'm the only one. It's either West Virginia
What?
or Georgia.
all
Because
right.
a lot of my family's from Dalton, Georgia, and a lot of my family lived down near Harper's Ferry and a couple other small towns in the West Virginia.
I don't want to hold Shane up any longer.
Yeah, I gotta
Shane's
pop
get
off.
pulling out
Boy,
early. Shane,
care.
have a great night, man.
I still gotta load some things in the vehicle. Hey,
All right.
guys, can't wait, guys. It's 35 days until kickoff,
Oh,
so we'll know exactly where the wind's blowing for the Big 12.
Yeah. 35 days till kickoff. Man, that's amazing.
Jesus.
I mean, we
And
can say time went by quick, but my God, no, it didn't. You ought to be a
no,
content creator trying to come up with something to say during the off season. It's really hard. It's really
that's
hard.
why I didn't really post anything in the off season. One, because I'm still, even though I've been doing this for 3 years now, it's still difficult year in and year out to come up with something when college football is not playing. Now, the only other sport people care about after college football is college basketball. That's it. After college basketball season ends, even all the other
Well,
spring sports that are played, nobody cares about.
well, I know some of us say that, but I'm gonna say right now, I've never been a baseball fan, but I became a baseball fan this year because West Virginia did pretty damn good. Uh, you know, and I think
Yeah,
we do that. And now listen, and that being said, I'm always a rifling fan. I mean, my God, we win national championships in rifling every damn year. So I always a rifling fan for us. I watch our rifling tournaments. I really do. I don't understand them. I have no idea what the hell is going on, but I watch
yeah,
them. You know, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, I think we all. I think there are fans that are fans of the school in general, like I am. I'm a fan of WVU. I'm not just a fan of the football team. I'm a fan of WVU. And then you've got your fans of the football team, right? Your people that never, they maybe don't, they maybe never even been to a game, but their family watch WVU and they're watching WVU, So,
yeah.
and I can understand those guys, and I can understand the guys that just want to watch football and basketball as well. But I'm a fan of the school. I know Jackson here. I'm pretty sure you follow everything Alabama, don't you? Wrestling and everything, don't you, Jackson?
I
I
did my best.
I
I
can't
don't want
I
to.
can't get in. I can't get in. That's one thing I can't get into. There's certain sports I can't get into. I'll tell you
Yeah,
two of them.
I'm.
Swimming. Swimming is one I can't get into at all. Now, if you want to show me pretty girls in bathing suits all day long, I'll look at that. But I don't give
Of
a damn
course you
about
would.
them. I don't give a damn about them diving off the eye dive stuff. So I really don't care too much about swimming, but I watch it to support the team, right? And I really don't care too much about wrestling, but I'll watch it to support the team, to support West Virginia. So there's some things I don't really care.
I'm not saying I don't care for the university, Joey. I do. I'm a part of their Alliance 412 membership. That's the NIL fund that funds the whole entire university's athletics for the NIL. So I donate $100 every month to the NIL fund.
Yeah,
I'm a fan for all the sports, or else I wouldn't be doing that.
yeah, that's
There
me.
is
I'm
just,
a member of our collective. I'm a member of our
yeah,
NIL collective, and I'm
yeah,
I'm a
same
proud
here.
member. I'm a proud member. Hey, look,
Me too.
I love it because look, if I'm gonna support them, right, and I'm gonna watch them on TV, it ain't gonna hurt for me to send them $50 a month.
Yeah,
Whatever. And so that's how I feel about it. And it goes to something that's a good cause. I don't care which team it goes to. So you can earmark it, right? You can say, I want this to go to a football player or whatever. I don't earmark mine. It can go for all I care. It can go to a volleyball player. I don't care. I want to
yeah.
support our sports. I want to support our sports teams. So
There's
that's how
just certain. No, Timothy, I will never do that. I just saw that. That will never happen in God's given damn day in life. When I became a Pitt fan, I made a promise to never, ever, ever, ever stop being a Pitt fan. And if I can deal with Pitt after going 3-9, I think I'm doing pretty well. Because a lot of fans just gave up. A lot of fans canceled their season tickets. That's the problem for us. We don't have a fan base that believes in us because they're so used to us being, I don't want to say bad, because we weren't really bad up until 1990, and after the 90s, we started to level that 7-5, 8-4 mark. We just don't have a big fan base, and being in a town with a pro football team, a pro hockey team, baseball, now soccer, women's hockey. women's football. There's a professional women's football team here. This city is so sports deprived that I don't even think all Steeler fans are truly Steeler fans. I think they just go for the game day experience because it's that good. And that's our biggest problem. That's our
I'm gonna
biggest
tell you
problem.
right now, at Talkers Pit, I've been to a lot of games at a lot of stadiums around the country, and there's nothing like West Virginia University. So don't take this to your head. But I'll tell you right now, that atmosphere a couple years ago in Pittsburgh, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and mind you, that audience was split pretty much 50-50. It was maybe 60-40 Pitts, right? Fan-wise.
Yeah.
Maybe 60-40.
I would say 60-40.
That was an amazing friggin' atmosphere. I mean, that was great.
You guys told me, Golden Blue Dude, and you might have told me, and Coach Coos, when I was getting along with him, he said that they expected a lot of Pitt fans to try to start fights with them. That didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Now, as we were leaving, as Golden Blue Dude and I were leaving the game and walking down the sidewalk, there was a few Pitt fans lined up on the wall that were trying to start trouble, but we just walked on by them and left.
I would have said, even if I went to that game with you and I couldn't because I had to work and I didn't get off in time, and I don't want to go to a football game when it's already close to halftime because they let you in for free after halftime.
Well,
and
all right,
it was great. You guys said it was probably the best atmosphere you've been a part of. Now, you guys did not you, Joey, but your fan base did a Twitter poll. Who had a better atmosphere, Pitt or Penn State? It wasn't even close. It was us. It wasn't even close.
You did. You had a better atmosphere. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. I'm gonna tell you right now. Now, as far as the fans, I think 75-25 is a good ratio. 60-40 though that day was absolutely great. I'm going to say 60% Pitt fans, 40% West Virginia fans. It was great because look, we all had our own fan base to cheer for, right?
Yeah,
and stuff and or to cheer with, and it was great. So we
finally had the rivalry.
Fans. Right.
We had that rivalry because, Joey, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. Once that backyard brawl went away, it was just Pitt and just West Virginia. That was it. Yeah. That we were just recognized as football teams, and nobody thought anything more. But when that backyard brawl came back, everybody was talking about us.
Yeah, they were. You're right. And that's something that needs to continue. So we've got it this year.
Yeah, your fan base needs to stop wishing for the downfall of the ACC and stop wishing for Pitt to go to the Group of Five. Because to me, if they wish that kind of level of badness on us for us to have to do what Cincinnati did, go to the American Athletic Conference, I don't think they respect the backyard brawl.
I don't think that'll happen to Pitt, and here's why. I think you would have too many rivalries in the Big 12, especially if Miami and Clemson come over, and you've got that West Virginia Pitt rivalry, and you've got the Pitt Miami rivalry and the West Virginia Miami rivalry,
and Cincinnati too. We are rivals with them. We have a nickname for that rivalry. It's called the River City rivalry. And there was a trophy.
They beat us 3 times out of 21. I'm not that big of a rival.
Even though they beat us, even though Cincinnati beat us last year, we still lead the series over them by 5 games.
Yeah, I think we're 19 or 20-3. I don't remember. It's like 19 or 20-3.
With Cincinnati. With Cincinnati, that wouldn't be a rivalry with West Virginia whatsoever.
You have to remember, though, unlike Pitt, and that's not trash talking, before 1980, you guys were the cream of the crop. After 1980, y'all have been an average team.
Well, in the 1980s, we were good.
Well, no, I'm not saying. I'm saying I'm talking about up until now. Up until right now.
You would have to.
Where most of those years West Virginia was an above average team, and Penn State, Pitt was an average team. So, you look at, we played for national championships, and stuff after 1980, and we went undefeated twice since 1980, or since 1988. So we went undefeated twice. And we've had teams that like 2006, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12 that were just like phenomenal teams. I mean, they were amazing.
Exactly.
So you gotta figure that in. So I think Pitt overall time is probably obviously more blue blood than West Virginia, right? Because of all your national championships. But I
Yeah.
think if you look since 1980, Pitt has fallen off the rails, and
Oh,
that's
agreed.
what cost you. That's what cost you being a blue blood, guys. That's what
Oh,
cost.
I mean, to be honest, what I actually think, when I went back and did all the history checks, when I do that, I actually have to watch a couple of games from that time era. So I'll go ahead and watch the whole entire game, and then after that, I'll look up the record, who was quarterback, yada yada yada. I look up everything, even if it's pointless. Here's where I think it started to go downhill. I think when Pitt wasn't considered for the national title in 1980, 1981, and 1982, that's when it started to go downhill, because we should have been champs of 81. We should have been champs of 82. Probably even 1980, because we were good those 3 years. And then after that, we just sucked. The biggest win we have in 1980 was beating Ohio State by 40.
So let's transpose that to today. FSU got left out last year. Is this the
Yeah.
start of the downfall of FSU too? Like it did with Pitt back then? Is this the start? Pitt got left out,
Yes,
right?
yes. And here should be the telltale sign that could be it's probably a downfall for Florida State. They got their ass whooped by Georgia in a bowl game. Now, look, I granted it's a bowl game. Nobody cares about it. But the excuse Florida State fans made, well, we didn't have our starters. They didn't either. What's your excuse? They didn't have their starters. Matter of fact, I think they were missing more starters than you were. And you still got your ass whooped. So that's the team, that Florida State team that you saw in the bowl game against Georgia. That's the same team that's coming out here for this year. Well, minus DJ Ukulele, which I can't pronounce his last name, so we're just going to call him
Neither can
Ukulele.
I.
Yeah. So, oops, I almost dropped my phone. Florida State's success hinges on DJ. DJ isn't a very good quarterback. He is what I would call a slight above average quarterback, and the reason why is because that first year he had to take over in COVID year when Notre Dame joined the conference, he was absolutely phenomenal. When he became the full-time starter, didn't really do anything. He just didn't. So I do think it is the downfall.
Jackson, when he started saying Georgia had players sitting out and Florida State had players sitting out, you was going to say something. What was you going to say?
I was going to say that I kind of feel like the downfall of Pitt football was Jackie Sherrill leaving for Texas A&M.
No, I take that back. The downfall started when Johnny Majors left.
Oh, for Tennessee after that
Yeah.
76 national
So, yeah,
championship.
you're saying it started with Walt Harris then, because Walt Harris was
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That who replaced him, Walt Harris?
Yeah, but he didn't
Walt
do
Harris.
that bad.
Walt Harris was a good coach unless he coached against West Virginia. He got his ass handed to him every friggin' year. I think that's what got him fired. I think that's why Walt Harris was not the head coach of Pitt any longer than he was.
I understand why Majors left. He's from Tennessee. He wanted to coach Tennessee. Every major coach in college football would love to coach their alma mater. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say every major figure in college football would want to coach their alma mater, because I know plenty that don't. They don't want to deal with the politics and all the BS that comes with college football, because a lot of it does come.
Oh yeah, it gets dirty.
It gets dirty. And back in that time frame when people were secretively playing or paying players, and I'm only air quoting that because everybody knew it back then.
Yeah. Bad man.
Yeah, back then, honestly, a lot of that, I think a lot of that has to also do with the success or the downfall of Pitt. They're not willing to play dirty. They don't want to do it. They would rather you sit there and trash talk them for being a bad football team than tarnish their morals as far as a university goes. And I've even said before, in this day and age, you got to play dirty.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah, because I always hear people complain about, oh, it's not like the old days. Yeah, well, guess what? We're not in the old days. We're in the current days.
Even in the old days, it was worse because people were doing it behind their back. It ain't any better today than it was back in 1980.
Yeah,
it's not. It's, to me, it's gotten. Here's the problem with the NAL. It's going to hoard a bunch of players on one team that would have otherwise probably flourished on another.
Hey guys, I just found our noise. I got a short in my cord. Listen. Don't hear nothing, do you?
I do.
I got a short in my cord here. You still hear it? You still hear something? Cause
static.
Okay, let me take my finger off this cord.
No.
That you don't hear that? Okay, I can hear it. Then. I guess it's,
now there it is.
Okay, so see, I think I've got to shorten this cord. That's what this noise is. I got tired of hearing it myself, and I just went pulling around with all my cords.
Honestly, I was going to be like Joey in the next 5 minutes. I was like, Joe, if that static does not shut the hell up, can we just end the show?
Yeah, it's driving me crazy too.
Look,
but
Joe
we
Burrow.
are going to end this show.
It's Joe Burrow Jr. Hey, Joe Burrow Jr. Because Joe Burrow dyed his hair blonde. Like bleach blonde.
He kind of looks more like Eminem.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. I said that in a comment on X the other day. I'm like, my God, remember the song "Stan" by Eminem?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he needs a little bit of therapy. That's all I'm saying. You know, somebody might want to talk to him.
Yeah, dear Stan, you're a good quarterback, but your team ain't winning.
I'm thinking that's what only thing I thought about was Joe Burrow. Man, he's got it in.
He deserves Cincinnati. Cincinnati doesn't deserve Joe Burrow. They don't. I'm sorry. They've practically ruined his career. His O-line can't block. His receivers can't catch. And you can't say, and people are sitting there, well, maybe it's Joe Burrow's fault. Really? Have you seen him throw a ball? He had the same injury as Alex Smith. Same exact injury. The only difference is Joe Burrow came out and said, you are not going to remember me for being the guy who had the Alex Smith injury. I will. And guess what he did? Took his team to the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah.
He's a baller.
Yeah.
Wish he would have committed to Pitt and not LSU, because he was up there on our list.
I couldn't hear you. LS who?
LSU.
LSU?
LSU? But yeah, a lot of people also forget Joe Flacco went to Pitt too.
Yep.
So,
but he transferred.
Angway says everyone in the Big 12 Big 12 land will be pulling for WU versus Penn State. Can they pull it off? What do you think? We talked about that earlier, and yeah, I mean that's a big. Listen, we got a Pitt fan on here tonight because that Penn State game, West Virginia Penn State, it's probably the biggest game of the year for the Big 12, without a doubt. Mm-hmm. And then it's a big game for West Virginia, but it's also a big game for teams like Pitt who also faced West Virginia 2 weeks later. So if West Virginia could beat Penn State and then 2
If you
weeks
guys
later
beat Penn
lose
State,
to Pitt, hey, Pitt
yeah,
might be a front runner in the ACC, right? And West
yeah.
Virginia would still be a front runner in the Big 12. So
I
would it
still,
hurt?
yeah,
Yeah.
I still think you guys are going to make it to the Big 12. Winning it is different. I gotta see who by week 6 who I think you guys might face in the Big 12 in the Big 12 championship. Now, obviously, you guys did lose a ton on defense, but you also replaced it too.
Well, we did. But what you gotta realize you can't look at the transfer portal because the players that went in
Yeah.
the transfer portal never got on the field. I mean, we had
What
like
about the
one
two
player off
guys
the
from
defense.
Northwestern? What
Yeah,
if,
one player off the defense that left in the transfer portal that actually played. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The two guys out of Northwestern we've got, yeah,
They
they're going to be
started.
great. Look, I think they're going to be great. Do you remember Beanie Bishop last year?
Yeah, I
We got
remember him.
we got him. You know, we got him right out of the transfer portal.
Minnesota.
And he was a plug and play player. And look, he's in the NFL now. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that we've got a pretty good defensive back coach, a
Yeah.
secondary coach, and a defensive coordinator. I like Jordan Leslie.
Our
So-
DB coach just got promoted to assistant head coach.
Nice.
Yeah, so Corey Sanders, our DB coach, is now our assistant head coach. And he's the one that went out, and I don't know if you guys will recognize this name, and got Chief Borders
Ooh,
from Nebraska.
that's a win.
That is a very big win. And then Eli Holstein, sorry, Jackson, from you guys, Alabama. He probably, honestly, just out of sheer talent, should be the one starting. He just doesn't have experience. That's
Sad
the
to see him
problem.
leave Bama, but I'll be pulling for him at Pitt, except when he goes against Bama.
Yeah, if that ever happens.
Yeah.
I'm wondering at this point. So Jackson, West Virginia, and Bama have home and home scheduled. What 27, 28? I don't remember if it's 26, 27, or 27, 28. They have home and home scheduled. With all this conference realignment, I'm wondering if that's even going to happen.
Well, that, but also the conference schedule possibly being moved to 9 games, which, I mean, I saw
Right.
Auburn, UCLA being taken off, Georgia, UCLA being taken off. That makes me worry about our other home and home series. I don't want Alabama, Ohio State going away. I
Yeah.
don't want
Right.
Bama, West
But
Virginia
let's think
going away.
let's think about it though. If you're looking at 27, 28, and you're looking at that schedule and saying, who would I rather not play? It would probably be a West Virginia because I don't know who your other out of conference schedule team is, but probably not nobody on the level of West Virginia. Probably Alabama, Birmingham, or somebody like that. I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be playing those damn FCS games. I hate those.
I
games.
hate them. I hate them. And look, Pitt has lost to a couple FCS teams in the past 20 years. And because here's the thing, people are like, well, if you can't compete against the FCS, what makes you think you'd compete in the Big 12? Well, when you schedule FCS teams for 30 years straight, somebody's bound to beat you.
Mhm.
Somebody's bound to beat you. So, I mean, it's going to happen. And it just so happened the year we transitioned from a new conference. And then the year we won.
I don't think it's ever happened in West Virginia history.
That you lost to an FCS team?
I don't believe we have ever.
Well, I don't. You might not have. I don't.
I just don't remember.
Pitt did, unfortunately.
I'm an old man, and
Yeah.
I don't remember it ever happening. I know Kenny's an older man too. He's not as old as me, but I know he's an older gentleman.
Wait, is Western Michigan? Are they D1 or are they FCS?
D1.
Okay, so they're not FCS. So that doesn't count actually. The last and the only FCS team that I can think of off the top of my head that we lost to is Youngstown State,
Yep.
which Honestly,
We've never lost to Youngstown State.
well, Joey, you have to. There's several factors that back then I didn't
We've
consider.
never lost to Middle Tennessee State.
Never played them.
We've never lost to Western Kentucky.
Never played them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying
We've
never
played
lost to-
Kentucky recently. We've played Kentucky in the Compass Bowl 8 years ago and beat them. But the problem, Joey, with crap, I forget what I was gonna say. I'm old and I'm only 34.
I'm just talking crap. So yeah, I'm just letting you know.
I
what
know.
West Virginia,
I know.
what Pitt has done that West Virginia has not done.
Oh, that's what it was.
You've won a national championship. And we haven't. There you go.
Yeah. Youngstown State was Pat Narduzzi's alma mater. And he, one of his alma maters, he coached at Youngstown State briefly before he came to Pitt. They knew him. They knew everything he was going to run offensively, defensively. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's the reason. But if you still look at the grand scheme of things, that loss should have never happened. It shouldn't have. And it wasn't like they had to take us to overtime to beat us, which is still even more embarrassing. I just don't think Pitt's that team anymore. I don't think they're that team that's going to be known for losing to FCS teams. And right now, this is going to be our transition year. And after that, I can not promise you or guarantee you, but I could give you a certainty that the 6 and 6 days are over.
Well,
they're over.
The same thing. I can say the same thing about West Virginia too. You know,
and it would be a legit thing.
Now. It's behind us now.
Joey, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but you'll love my surprise teams list.
Oh, Willa.
I did not see that either, Jackson.
I think I've not seen it, Jackson, but I will go check it out.
Honestly, Jackson, I barely ever see anything.
Honestly, I've got my X notifications turned off because
same here.
It was like so many were coming in. I was like, oh my god.
Yes, that's
right. Brett McMurphy breaks a story like every 10 minutes. You know, it's like crazy.
There's that guy called Greg Swain or something like that.
Greg Swain show.
Oh my God. Can somebody shut him the heck up, please, already?
Well, now, sometimes it's pretty damn good. So
yeah, okay.
What are you talking about?
Well, here's the thing. You, Joey, you may not know him, but his name's JJ Kitchen. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you.
I think I've seen him. He's on the Jason Watkins channel.
Yeah, that's him. He's a Pitt fan who does what me and you do. So if you ever need another Pitt fan to go on a show, I'll send him your way. Because to be honest, if you want to have a more sophisticated conversation, he's better off. I don't really know a lot to be the true college football YouTuber I want to be.
Right.
I'm making changes to my YouTube channel. Like I will be changing the name here soon.
Okay.
And the only reason why I'm doing that is because when people see Talk is Pitt, that's all they see is Pitt. They don't bother to look at my channel, even though I do post other content that has nothing to do with Pitt. So I think the best thing for me to do is just change my name. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
or are you guys too used to it?
I'm too used to it. I would still call you Talk is Pitt.
Yeah.
I'll probably be calling you Talk is Pitt for a while, but then it's like it would take a little bit for me to get used to your new name.
You can change names and change channels all you want to, but you can't change you. You know, and that's what people love. That's what people watch you for. So don't worry about that stuff. You know, just
I don't know, because obviously you guys see where I'm at right now. I'm in my basement, only because it's the only place I have. Yeah, and it's only temporary. Yeah. But here's the thing that's gotten me a lot of views. A lot. Whether it's bad or good. A view is a view.
So yeah, just get out there and do what you can. So as the fix is in, they ain't going to let two Big 12 teams in the playoffs, in my opinion. Yeah, Phoneway's dropping in there every once in a while and bombing on us. Big Lubbock says if Pitt goes to the Big 12, Pitt will be 6-6 at best.
No. I mean, because let's be honest.
Tell me, wait, Pitt, right now, stop right there, talking Pitt. Name 6 teams in the Big 12 that Pitt can beat this year.
This year?
Name 6 teams in the Big 12 that Pitt can beat this year.
After a 3, Joey, that's a setup question because after a 3-9 season, nobody's gonna think that we can play any Big 12 teams.
Well,
I saw right through that.
We've had a few of those.
All right. If you want me to be straight up honest,
could you beat BYU?
Yes, we could.
You think so?
I think we could. I think that would be a more difficult game than we anticipate.
Could you beat Oklahoma State?
No, because the last time we played them, they whooped our ass 5 years ago.
What about
Kansas State?
What about Kansas State?
Yeah.
Yes, only because we got 2 of their defensive starters.
No. Yeah.
Joey, listen to it though. We got 2. Hold on. We got 2 of their defensive starters from the portal.
Did you say Hawk Tua? Did you say Hawk Tua?
No, I didn't. You know what? That sounds like a good name. Hawk Tua Pitt.
Oh God.
Oh, you gotta give it that Hawk Tua.
You gotta give it that Hawk Tua and spit on that thing.
That's right.
All
right, Jackson.
Okay, but to be honest, no, I was messing with you, Joey. No, we would not beat Kansas State, not even close. We wouldn't beat Kansas. No, we definit's would not beat Kansas.
Are you going to beat West Virginia?
This year, I think it's possible. Here's the thing, Joey. Hold on. Did you at all look at the stats for that game last year and how horrible they were for both teams?
Yeah. Here's your good one.
They were bad.
Could you beat Iowa State?
Could we beat Iowa State?
They have 7th-year seniors from tackle to tackle.
7-year seniors? Have they been starting for the past couple of years?
Yes, they have. I'm serious. They are loaded.
This year, no.
Loaded.
If you're talking about just this year, there's probably not many big teams that are Big 12 teams that we could compete with, because you're looking at a Pitt team that only returns 65% of its production. Most of that is on the offensive side of the ball. The Big 12 has always been known for having great offensive lines. West Virginia, for example. So this year, no. If you're talking about any other year, yeah, I think we could.
We're talking this
now,
year.
Okay.
Right.
This year, we could beat Texas Tech. I think we could.
No.
We could beat Texas Tech.
No.
We could. No, because they're gone.
How about UCF? How about the question on the screen there, Cam?
Yeah, UCF. We did. We beat them the last time we played them.
When was the last time you played them?
2019.
2019. This is 2024.
Oh, yeah.
This is when Dylan Gabriel was the quarterback.
Yeah, and you ended their long active winning streak.
Yeah, we ended their 26-game home win streak.
Yeah,
even Kenny agrees with me. Texas Tech,
that's the
no.
thing about going to Pitt that all of college football needs to know is that's where dreams go to die for top 25 teams.
Let me tell you something, Talkers Pitt. Well, let me ask you this: Could Pitt beat Arizona? Could Pitt beat Utah?
Could Pitt beat Arizona and Utah?
No.
So you're bringing up teams that are obviously good
in the Big 12. in the Big 12.
That's what I'm saying. You're bringing up teams that are obviously good while we were doing bad, knowing no matter what answer I give you, Joey, you're going to disagree with it.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with it. The country's going to. If you
Dude,
had,
yeah,
if Pitt was, listen, if Pitt was going up against Utah at Pitt, Pitt would be a 21-point underdog.
We're always a 21-point underdog to anybody who comes from another conference to play us at Pitt. And guess what happens? They lose.
Well,
Oh, here's 3 more teams: Houston, Arizona State, Colorado.
Colorado, yes. Arizona State, yes. Houston, no. Well, see, they did almost as bad as we did last
you
year.
better watch that old Tulane coach down there at Houston now. Let me tell you what.
Well, so see, the thing is, though, but that's the thing, though. Like, just because you're a good coach at one place doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach at another. And I've seen it happen that way.
It does when you're taking over a Dana Holgorsen offense. I don't care.
Well, I mean, if Pat Narduzzi could take over a Dana Holgorsen offense and make it better.
No, I'm saying Dana Holgorsen's offense is going to be loaded, right? So he's going to have players. He's got players.
Yeah, but that's from see. Here's that's what irritates me is there's a lot of metrics that West Virginia fans and other college football fans use to boast how their team's going to do, how good their team's going to do, and then you guys turn around and use those same metrics against us to say how bad we're going to do. And it happened this year. Like when we got players from the transfer portal, we didn't get any players from SCS programs. And West Virginia fans were like, oh, well, you guys had to replace your whole entire defense with transfer portal guys. You guys had to do the same thing.
I'm going to be honest with you, though. I am. I'm going to be brutally honest with you this year. This year, if Pitt was playing in the Big 12, they would be picked to finish 12th, maybe.
We're picked to finish last now. What's the difference?
I'm just saying, you'd be picked to finish 12th in the Big 12.
Every time Pitt is picked to finish last.
That's with four newcomers out of the group of 5. You would be picked 12th.
I don't think that's brutally honest. I think that's just you being a homer. I'm sorry.
Hey, Jackson,
that's
where would Pitt be ranked this year in the Big 12?
I'm not saying that they wouldn't be ranked last. Our record would deserve that. 3-9, you should be picked to finish last. Yeah. But here's what I'm saying. Every time we're picked to finish last, we never do. Never. Never have. Like 2000, I see it. 2021, we were picked to finish 14th, dead last in the conference. What did we end up doing? We won it. We were picked to finish dead last in the conference this year. I'm not saying we're going to win it this year. And we had almost a similar record the year prior to 2021, and we're in literally the same situation. A crap ton of people left. We got a crap ton of new people. All the people that were on the offensive line and wide receiver corp for Pitt in 2021, they were all brand new. That was their first year starting. The only person who started was Kenny Pickett.
Let me throw a few comments up here for you. So Timothy Green says, I think Pitt would go, I think Pitt would go 6-6 in the Big 12. So there's your decent comment, right? Because that's better than what you're picked to go in the ACC. All right, now hold on. Let me go
5-7.
Let me move on. Big Lubbock says Pitt could beat Baylor, and that is it. I don't think Pitt could win at Nippert at night.
Nipper is who?
That would be that. Yeah, and then so this is Big Lubbock. So
okay, I don't know. I know all the Big 12 teams. After that, I don't know anything really, other than West Virginia and Cincinnati, because we played them quite often. We were only supposed to play you guys out of the Big 12. We weren't supposed to play anybody else. However, somebody behind the scenes, and I'm not sure if it was for us, West Virginia, or Cincinnati, but we now added Cincinnati to that schedule because Pitt, West Virginia, Cincinnati are the teams that ran the Big East. The whole entire time it was there.
Could Pitt beat TCU? Big Lubbock is that.
TCU did lose to Colorado. And I do think we could beat Colorado. So, yes, I do. I do think we could beat TCU. It wouldn't be by much. Hell would have to freeze over.
Onway says Pitt may have to adjust their recruiting style if in the Big 12. Don't know what type of players they're getting now. Fast enough, don't know. And he's right.
Well,
'cause we have speed in the Big 12.
He's actually wrong. He's wrong. And here, let me tell you why. Our starting quarterback, he's from Texas. Tyler, Texas, actually. Our starting running back, oh no, Rodney's from Virginia. Our backup running back's from Texas. Both our wide receivers are from Texas. All three of our linebackers are from Texas. We recruit Texas extremely well.
Oh, so
Even in
you guys,
the rest,
you guys may be built a little bit to come down to the Big 12. but
that's the
not what
thing.
he's saying. That's not what he's saying. See, the Big 12 don't just recruit Texas. They go after speed. We recruit
well,
Florida.
I
West
didn't
Virginia
just say
recruits
Texas.
Florida, right? You know.
I didn't say that. I didn't say just Texas. I
So
said Texas and the other states.
How was your recruiting on speed though? Are you fast enough? That's what he's asking.
Yeah, we got Tyreek Robinson. He's on the roster now. He's a freshman from Georgia. He ran a 4.2. He's fast. But that also is probably because he's only 5'10", 170 pounds. He adds on any extra weight, it's going to slow him down.
So he's like a Tavon Austin or something, you know.
Yeah, he was a all. And when I mean all-state runner, I don't think you can get more all-state as a track star in Texas as he did. He's never placed anything below gold. He's always won gold in his track meet. So we have that speed. And then Rodney Hammond is fast, but he's also big and short. So he can't maintain that speed to break off a big run unless he's already well far ahead. Joel's Goff, he is probably either going to start or be the backup. He's from where's he from? Tennessee. So, and the thing is, a lot of our players on the roster now, they come from Big 12 country. We recruit extremely well in Florida. Extremely well. You remember Kalijah Cansey, Joey?
The name's familiar. I don't remember.
He was our defensive tackle in the first backyard brawl. He didn't play the year after because he graduated. He's number 8. He's from Florida. He got drafted in the first round to Tampa Bay. So we recruit very well from Florida.
Is he your pipeline to Florida? Is that who you guys use to help get there? Like West Virginia, like just saying, West Virginia had Doc Holliday, right? And Doc Holliday was our pipeline to Florida. So.
Yeah, he is our pipeline to Florida, 100%. Because a lot of the kids that are on our roster now, he's either played against down in Florida or he's played with. I wish he was still on the team. I do. Yeah, but we recruit. Here's our problem. We don't recruit our territory very well, meaning Pennsylvania. We don't. We don't recruit New York. We recruit Ohio very well, but everybody gets anybody from Ohio. Here's where our problem lies. We need to land a 5-star recruit that is actually going to do well. Not like the last one we had 12 years ago. And actually, Joey, you know him, Russell Shell.
Yeah.
Did
he
not do very
transferred.
good.
He transferred to West Virginia, and I mean, he was decent, but he wasn't never great, was he?
No, he wasn't. And I think that's the reason why we don't go after 4 stars or and 5-star players. Well, we have 4 stars on the roster. We have 9, I think.
I mean, I know we were excited when we got Rush Shell, and he, like I said, he was good. I mean, he could hold his own, but
Inconsistent.
he just didn't live up to his hype, really.
Yeah, he didn't.
In my opinion, that's my opinion.
But I think we could recruit well in the Big 12. Obviously, going into the first year, I'm not going to pick Pitt to win the Big 12 or even sniff the conference championship. That would be too much. 6-6, I think, is fair. I do think 6-6 is fair.
So Tech, Lubbock said, Big Lubbock says Tech got softball national player of the year from Stanford. She chose Tech over Oklahoma and Texas. Tech is paying $1 million in NIL to her. Wow,
Jesus.
that's a lot of daggone money.
But softball's pretty popular.
Oh yeah,
So
hey,
it's
I
very
love
popular.
it. I love softball. I love watching it. It's really,
yeah.
it's really a good game.
I think 6-6 is fair, Joey. I do.
All right, so you guys want to end this, or you want to
Sure.
keep going? Because we're going to keep going. I got to go potty.
Oh, if you want to end it now, that's fine. I don't have anything to do tomorrow.
All right. Well, listen, people, we appreciate you being here very, very much. For Shane, I am Joey, and I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you next time.